What is going on, all you Pokemon collecting maniacs out there? This is Ryan, the Pika Pika Papa, and here on this channel, man, we love to collect data. We love to collect data, and we love to get it from as many sources as possible. And that's because here, I'm always trying to keep my finger on the pulse of what's happening at the hobby at a more macro level, right? Like I am looking for current trends, or even better, I'm looking for current trends that correlate with previous ones, because that's the greatest way to give us some idea of what might happen in the future. So we spend a ton of time doing that here. And like I said, we get this from a bunch of different sources. And what I really find, I don't know, enjoyable or impactful is when multiple different sources are kind of pointing me in the same direction. And that's what this video is about today. So we're going to be talking about promo cards. And as I'm going to tell you here in just a minute, a lot of our recent content, a lot of these different data sources have been telling us that promo cards are getting really hot. However, even though a lot of them are getting hot, I still think that there's a lot of ones out there right now which represent an awesome value. Matter of fact, I think out of all of the cards that we talk about today, only one of them is over $20. I tried to keep most of these in the sub $20 range because not that cards that are higher than $20 don't have the ability to multiply multiple times in terms of price appreciation, but I'm really looking for some ones that everybody has a chance to get their hands on, and plus, when you buy cards that are at $20, there's not a lot of risk associated with it. You can really diversify by buying a bunch of different ones. Plus, it's just a ton of fun to pick up these awesome cards at a really approachable price point like that. So as I said, we collect data from a bunch of different spaces, and the ones that I'm specifically going to reference today are TCG Player. We get all kinds of data straight from TCG Player. They send me Excel spreadsheets, and I break them down, and one of my favorite ones is the video series we do every single Sunday. So those are the cards that have gained the most value on TCG Player over the last 7 days. Fantastic way to get an understanding of what is happening in the here and now. But then there's two others, which are monthly views. One of them is just the overall sales volume. So they give us the top 10 cards in terms of sales volume on their website for the previous 30 days. So price doesn't matter, but when you think about it, cards that sell with the highest degree of velocity, that indicates a very high level of demand. And what ultimately drives prices here in the Pokemon space is demand. So cards on that list maybe don't have a huge price jump now, but they have proven time and time again that if they have high demand now, they're going to have high demand in the future. So they really, really have a tendency to do well in the long term. And the other one, and most recently I did this video, was when TCG Player sent us that Excel spreadsheet of the 10 cards that had gained the most in value over the previous 30 days. So this one is solely focused on price changing. And that was one of the big ones too, where we did that video, and guess what? 8 of the 10 cards that were featured in that video were all promo cards. Again, a wonderful indication that promo cards are getting super hot. And then another source that we pull from is PSA, believe it or not. And I know not everybody's into grading, but when you want to keep your finger on the pulse of what's going on from an investing and high-end collecting standpoint, understanding what's being sent to PSA and being graded is incredibly impactful. And again, we just see promo cards popping up all over the recent PSA grading report. So I kind of take all of these different data sources from different places and mash them together, and it tells me that promo cards, are in a really, really interesting space right now. Now, a lot of it's driven by those Pokemon Center exclusive ETB stamped cards, but there are a bunch of other ones out here that we're going to talk about throughout the course of this video. Like I said, most of them are under 20 bucks. I think they represent great value, and no matter what, they're just incredible cards that everybody would benefit from having in their collection. So with that being said, we're going to go through these cards. If you find value in this series, if you have fun, if you enjoy the content, hit that subscribe button or give us a thumbs up. Those two small things go such a long way in helping my small channel out, and I can't possibly tell you how much I appreciate it. So the very first card that we're going to kick down the door with is the one that is over $20, but I could not stand it. I couldn't wait any longer. I love the Eevee promo card from the Prismatic Evolution Super Premium Collection box. It literally checks every box that I'm looking for in a promo card. So first off, huge Pokemon at the top. Eevee, wildly popular. Obviously, everybody loves Eevee and Eeveelutions, so check that box off. Number two, it's an alt art. I love promo cards that are an alt art version. A lot of times, Pokemon, even more recently than later, they've been tending to just reprint cards and put a stamp on them. Everybody loves a stamp. I love a stamp. But when I'm thinking about the opportunity to really outperform in the long run, I want them to be an alt art version. And the other thing too is it comes from a sealed product that not only has a high premium attached to it now, But I think 5, 10 years from now, those Prismatic Evolution Super Premium boxes are going to go for a stupid amount of money. I don't think everybody's ripping them. I think a lot of people are keeping them sealed for the long term, and I think that that is going to lead to some degree of scarcity for this Eevee card as well. And when you look at the price right now, a lot of cards come out super high, then they drop down for a while. This one started off only sub 40. Like, it started off at about $35. It did drop momentarily. It's worked its way back up, but I think this card at $35 is an absolute steal. I want you to think about the Eevee Pokemon Center exclusive stamped promo card from the ETB, right? Think about that one. It started off high. It dropped as low as $50. It has literally doubled over the last month, back up to the $100 range. That card, as far as I'm concerned, it has $200 written all over it. And I think the same thing is going to happen with this card. Maybe it won't reach as high as the Pokemon Center exclusive stamped one will, but I do think that this one has the opportunity to follow the same path. And I think getting it for $35 is an absolute steal right now. Next card we're going to talk about right here. So remember, I like cards from sealed products that I think have the opportunity to do really, really well over time. So this is the Paldean Fates Charizard promo card that comes from the Paldean Fates tin. And Paldean Fates is so incredibly hot. Between the Chase Charizard card, between the Bubble Mew, I mean, that thing is incredibly hot. And this Charizard, again, think about it, it's the biggest name in Pokemon right here, coming from one of the biggest and hottest sets that we have going right now in Paldean Fates. And this card is still sub $20. Now, is this card going to be a $200-300 card in the next 6 to 8 months? Absolutely not. But is this one that I think everybody should have in their collection because it's got a high degree of upside in the long run? Abso-freaking-lutely. I mean, when we talk about the sealed product doing well, take a look at this. This is what that tin is at now. The tin has just absolutely been killing the game. It's up at $100 for the tin, and the promo in there is a fifth of that, coming in at under $20. I think everything, the stars and the moon and everything, is aligning for this promo card to have a very, very strong run. So I think this one should be on the list, and may not be my favorite Charizard artwork of all time, but if you think about some of the Sun and Moon promos, some of the Charizard focused Sun and Moon promos, some of them didn't have the best artwork either, and a lot of them have enjoyed a whole lot of price appreciation over the last, say, 6 or 8 months. So really, really cool thing, interesting thing to consider, but I do like this promo card a lot. Next one on the list, okay, we're going to the black and white era, believe it or not, and we've talked a lot about XY. We've talked a lot about Sun and Moon. Obviously, Sword and Shield and Scarlet and Violet are top of mind for almost everybody in the hobby right now, but the black and white era, those top-end cards from the black and white era, they all are at very hefty price points, but when you get beyond the top, there's some gaps. I think that some of the mid and lower tier cards are significantly undervalued. I think there's some real opportunity there. Now, this Lugia is obviously one of the biggest names in the entire game. This one comes from a tin just like the previous Charizard did. It is coming in at sub $20, coming in for 19 bucks and nothing else. Even if you're like me, like I wasn't heavily buying Pokemon cards back in the black white era. For me, it's just really cool to have cards from the older generations in my collection. I think it's awesome. I think it helps rounds it out. I never want to be totally focused on ultra modern. I always want to kind of diversify in ages as much as I do everything else. So I think this is a really cool card. And again, I just want to show you one more time, like what we have seen happen in the XY era. And as you know, here on this channel, I aggregate data like I talked to earlier on. This is the total value of the top 20 singles cards from all 12 sets in the XY era that have booster boxes. I've been charting it ever since October of 2023. And what I want you to see is how aggressively this entire generation has started moving in 2025. If you look all the way down there, January, where it says the total value was $5,829, like that was when we really started to see the XY era take off. Now, a lot of that is driven because that's the origin of the Mega Evolution Pokemon. And obviously with the Mega Series coming out, like that drove a lot of interest and organic growth. And the XY era was just overall underappreciated as far as I'm concerned. But this is just meant to show you what happens when an era gets hot. I think the black and white era has a lot of really cool cards that have been undervalued for a long time. So don't be surprised if we don't see this type of gain at some point in some of these black and white cards. The next thing that we're talking about is, hey, listen, we're talking about the XY era. Here we go right here. And this is another thing that I really like. So this is Rayquaza card, obviously Black Star promo from the XY era, but it's sub $20. We've already seen pretty significant growth over the last 6 months. It's up 67%. But what I like most about this is we know that there is going to be a Japanese set in the Mega Evolution series that is going to be called Storm Emeralda. We know that for sure. It's beyond a reasonable doubt. It's been trademarked. It's out there. What we think, we don't know for sure, but what we think with a high degree of certainty is that Rayquaza is going to be featured in that set in the future. So if we have a Mega Series set that is going to feature Rayquaza, we've seen time and time and time again that new sets with a ton of hype, whatever the focus Pokemon is from that set, older versions of that Pokemon, older cards with that character on it have a tendency to really spike up in price and just kind of grab hold of the overall hype and jump up organically as well. This is one of the cards that I think has the opportunity to do that. The artwork is really, really cool. I understand that it's one of the, third-party 3D graphics artworks, but we have seen plenty of cards that have that type of art do really well. So lots of opportunity here again. And just like I said with the Lugia card, like you're buying a really cool XY era card of a super popular Pokemon with awesome artwork for sub $20. You just cannot go wrong with taking a stab at this card. Now, next card that we're talking about, we're jumping into the Scarlet and Violet era again. And this card probably isn't on a lot of people's radars, although if you look over the last 3 months, it is up almost 200% in terms of pricing. It is up 192%. And this card right here, I think, has the opportunity to do really well for a couple of reasons. First and foremost, we have seen traditionally any card with I call them Pikachu and Friends. Pikachu and other Pokemon on it traditionally do really, really well. And I just think this card, it's cute, it's adorable. But what's even more important is it reminds me of another card that has performed well. So remember, this one's sitting here at $19, and take a look at this. So this is a very, very similar Pikachu card. This card came out in a box in the beginning of the Sword and Shield era, just like the previous one came out in the beginning of the Scarlet and Violet era, right? It's Pikachu and Friends, right? You have a lot of the other Pokemon on there as well. And look at what this one is at. The one we just looked at was at $18. This one is already up to $60 right here. Again, a lot of price growth in the last year, up about 132%. But if this card can be a $60 card, you can't convince me that the other one can't be. Even though I believe as much as I do, I don't know if I'm buying that card as much as I would probably just buy the Paldea Adventures chest if you have the opportunity. I mean, believe it or not, as far as I'm concerned, from a sealed product, this one is still undervalued, and there is not a lot of undervalued sealed product out in the market right now. So first off, if you buy this Paldea Adventures chest, you get the sealed Pikachu promo card, which we just talked about, which we have seen likely has a strong opportunity for growth in the future. Plus, you're paying $50, and you're getting 6 packs. They're not the biggest packs in the world from the Scarlet and Violet space, but hey, you're getting 2 Obsidian Flame packs, which that Charizard's doing really, really well. Obsidian Flames has an abysmal gem rate. Maybe Obsidian Flames is going to be okay in the long run. You get 2 packs of Paradox Rift, not my favorite set, but still, we'll have to see what it does in the long run. You get 1 base set Scarlet and Violet, womp womp. That's probably the biggest, I don't know, the least exciting one of the entire thing. And then you get 1 pack of Paldea Evolved, which as far as I'm concerned is one of the very best sets in the entire Scarlet and Violet era. So I mean, just having the pack of Paldea Evolved in the promo card alone would be enough to get me to buy this sealed product. But I do think that there's enough here. 6 packs. Again, we see what's happening with the supply and demand curve in Scarlet and Violet. We see what those booster boxes are going for nowadays, even if they're not top tier Scarlet and Violet products. Like 6 packs of this plus that promo card for $50. I would do this. Matter of fact, I did do this in the very beginning. When this thing was announced, I have 6 of these, which are chilling. They're a pain in the butt to store, I'll tell you that much. So if you don't have a lot of storage area, don't buy a ton of them. But I was a big believer in these early on, so I bought 6 of them, and I've got them just chilling. Love the promo card. I actually bought 8 of them. My kids opened 2 of them. It also comes with a little Pikachu squishy in there. My kids love squishies. So we opened a couple. We kept some sealed, and I think they're going to be really great in the long run. Next thing that we're talking about right here, we're talking about stamped promos, and these are pre-release, and I featured this Gengar card quite a while ago because this, again, when you think about the intangibles that this card brings, I think it is just worth noting that I think it's very, very special, right? So you have Gengar, obviously one of the most popular Pokemon that is around out there. Obviously, there's going to be one in Phantasmal Flames, which is only going to amplify Gengar's, I don't know, the fury over Gengar right now. Plus, it's a stamped promo. People love stamped promo. Plus, it's pre-release. Pre-releases tend to do pretty well. And it's a Lost Origin. That Lost Origin stamp, in my mind, is what really separates it from everything else, because Lost Origin, as far far as I'm concerned, top 3, top 4 set from the Sword and Shield era as it continues to age. I just think this card's going to do really well in the long run. Yes, there was a recent buyout. You see that big spike right there, and it caused the price to go up. It's going to be interesting to see if it can hold that $20 range. But no matter what, I think this card is very, very special. We're not there yet. I think it's going to take a couple more generations, but I do think those yellow borders, even now, I mean, those yellow borders hold a special place in my heart. So I do think cards with yellow borders like this are going to have, I don't know, some type of maybe not organic upside, but I do think that they will be nostalgic for a lot of people further down the road. Next one we're talking about, and this is the final one on the list. For everything that I just said about the Gengar, you could literally rinse and repeat it for this Zapdos card. So when you think about popular Pokemon out there, Zapdos is obviously near the very top. When we look at our grading report videos from PSA, Zapdos is always one of the most graded Pokemon. So hands down, super popular, no arguments there. Then it's got a stamp on it. We all know how much everybody loves stamps, but look at the stamp. What set does this come from? It's from Team Up. And Team Up, I don't even know what Team Up booster boxes are going for right now. I got to be transparent with you. I know it is some stupid number. Last time I saw it was like $6,000 for Team Up booster boxes. So when you think about Team Up as a whole, obviously the set of the Sun and Moon generation, probably the biggest set, I don't know, in recent memory as far as I'm concerned from a booster box perspective. It's just absolutely insane when you add all of that together and you consider the fact this thing is only going for $13 right now. Yes, it is up almost 250% from where it was a year ago, but a year ago, this was a $3 card. It was like a $2.80 $3 card. Nobody was paying attention to it. Now, for all the reasons that I said, I think people are starting to pile in. I think it's really interesting. Now, another note is when we did that video series where we talked about the 10 cards that had gained most on TCG Player over the last 30 days, we just released it the other day. You know, in that video, one of the interesting things was there was a Mimikyu card, right, which was a promo, and that promo came from a single pack blister of Team Up. Nobody paid attention to that Mimikyu promo card, right, up until Team Up started to pop off. Again, it was one single pack blister that had that card in. Now that Mimikyu promo card, I think, is up over $50. So would not be surprised if this Zapdos doesn't follow the same suit and see some significant growth long into the future. It just checks every box you could possibly want. So that's it. I thought it was really cool that we were able to keep most of these cards under $20. I think it's really approachable. I think it's a ton of fun. I think it presents lots of upside. And the promo market is incredibly hot. So if you made it to the end, if you enjoyed the content, if you had fun along the way, hit the subscribe button or give us a thumbs up. Those two small things go a long way in helping my small channel out. Can't tell you how much I appreciate it. I hope you have an epic one, and I'll talk to you soon, everybody. See you. Bye.